He says terrorist activity using propaganda and the use of violence to force governments to accept or submit to political demands is not new all over the world. In a statement, Senior Special Assistant to the President, Garba Shehu, notes that the country's security and defense forces are not clueless or helpless, but plans and ways of doing things which they will not display in the media. The dilemma in dealing with the specific case of trained terrorists are manifold. Punitive action like the popular call for carpet bombing of the unknown locations may assuage the desire of angry public for revenge. But what about the hostages? They have committed no offense. All they did was to board a train. Now the statement continues that terrorism is a global scourge that must be fought by all actors, the military, the civilian, and the communication service providers. Now this is the only way safe havens of terrorists are eliminated in every part of the globe. Now, to help the nation against the ongoing situation, the media must increase their support for the fight against exploitation of the internet and social media for terrorist purposes. The presidency reassures the public that the president has done all and even more than what is expected of him as Commander-in-Chief by way of morale, material and equipment support to the military, and expects nothing short of good results in the immediate. President Muhammadu Buhari sympathizes with former PDP National Chairman Adamu Muazu over the killing of his brother and abduction of his sister by bandits. President Buhari expresses shock and outrage by the news and reassures that he will leave no stone unturned to ensure that those enemies of humanity are finally quashed and decisively defeated. The president explains, and I quote, "Security is my constant concern, and I have kept the service chiefs on their toes to ensure that they come up with a decisive solution to end this menace," unquote. The president prays God to forgive the soul of the deceased and grants the family fortitude to overcome this double tragedy. Minister of Defense Bashir Mogashi says Nigerian Navy has been adequately repositioned in infrastructure and capacity building and tasked batch 32 trainees at the Nigerian Navy College NTA to apply knowledge acquired towards responding to national security challenges. Here is Kingsley Amajali with the report.
The Nigerian Navy is not only acquiring more platforms and enhancing its infrastructure, but also growing its manpower base for effective service delivery. These 1008 batch 32 trainees are joining the Nigerian Navy after a 6 months training. Minister of Defense said the integrated efforts by the Nigerian Navy in capacity development and infrastructural acquisition are targeted at making Nigerian Navy assert its authority across the nation's maritime.
I am optimistic that the induction of NNS cadre in the fleet will further consolidate the veterans' capability of the Nigerian Navy against maritime crimes and illegalities within our maritime domain and by extension the Gulf of Guinea.
He said the establishment of new naval bases and joint exercises with other foreign naval forces would further help to improve Nigerian Navy efficiency. In the last 6 months, the ratings were thoroughly trained in academic and physical combat exercises. Outstanding trainees were honored at the personal parade. In One, Rivers State, I'm Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And Civilian Joint Task Force, a group of combatant civilians presently assisting security forces in the crackdown on insurgents in the northeast, is offering to extend its services to the northwest. Now, the group in a conference in Abuja says the success recorded in the northeast can be replicated in the zone if given the opportunity. Our defense correspondent Ismail Musa was there.
The Civilian Joint Task Force is a group of combatant civilians fighting alongside security forces in the counter-insurgency operations in the northeast. It was established in 2013 as a grassroots approach to securing intelligence for security forces and later transformed into a full combatant group fighting alongside troops. The force is now offering to extend its services northwest, ravaged by banditry and terrorism.
The Nigerian military's operation against the insurgency and kidnapping currently taking place in Kaduna, Niger, Sokoto, Zamfara, and Katsina requires similar approach of military operatives and civilians.
The proposal to extend services westward depends on the approval of state governors. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Vice President Osinbajo has expressed his deep gratitude to Nigerians and everyone following his recent successful surgery. The Vice President appreciated the get-well wishes and prayers for his quick recovery from all Nigerians. Now, Vice President Osinbajo also sent special appreciation to the team of surgeons, doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, and the management of the Duchess International Hospital in Lagos for providing excellent care. The Vice President underwent a surgical operation on July the 16th at the Duchess International Hospital, Ikeja, in Lagos. In other stories, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has indicated that President Biden's administration's goal is to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth and development across Africa, to expand capital flows and promote the vibrant spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation that is so prevalent across the continent. Now, this was at the just concluded U.S.-Africa Business Summit held in Marrakesh, Morocco, where she emphasized the importance of boosting relations with the African continent. Justin Benmuye reports.
The 14th U.S.-Africa Business Summit 2022, which took place in Marrakesh, had participants exchange ideas around opportunities to strengthen industrial links, investment and trade between the African continent and the United States.
Greetings from Washington, D.C. I want to thank
U.S. Vice President in her statement said she believes in the power of public-private partnerships that bring together the experience and the expertise of the private sector with a mission of government to act for the public good and with public trust.
Africa is the world's fastest growing continent. By 2030, the continent will have 1.7 billion people. There is a growing demand for food, healthcare, education, technology, and infrastructure.
She affirmed that the U.S. administration recognizes the critical importance of strengthening its relationship with countries across Africa.
The Biden-Harris administration is committed to working with all of you to address these issues in furtherance of the African Union's Agenda 2063. With regard to food insecurity, we are focused on the urgent need to increase food production and exports with and within Africa.
The summit, she noted, demonstrated Washington's enduring commitment to its African partners, adding that it will be based on principles of mutual respect and shared interests and values.
I am pleased to see the advances made in implementing the African Continental Free Trade Area, and we will work with you to ensure its success. The United States is committed to bring to bear all the tools at our disposal, including development financing, grants, and technical assistance.
The summit gathered more than 1,500 participants, 80% of which were from the major U.S. and African business communities. Justin Benmuye, NTA News.
Now, with many decades of gainful bilateral relations spanning cultural and economic ties already between them, Nigeria and Brazil are on a quest to achieve more together, holding each other's hands in military cooperation. Now, Consulate General of Republic of Brazil to Nigeria, Ambassador Francisco Carlos Luz, expressed this optimism at the Western Naval Command of the Nigerian Navy, where a visiting Brazilian naval ship is set for a joint drill and sea exercises. And our correspondent, Adamu Muazu, was there.
A big part of the Atlantic Ocean, which incidentally borders both Nigeria and the Republic of Brazil, the Gulf of Guinea, and its 2.35 million kilometers square of water, is a common patrimony for many coastal nations, and securing it a joint task for all of them. Coming barely 10 months after its naval frigate, the Independencia dropped anchor at the shores of Lagos waters on a port visit. This port call by Brazilian naval ship Osinbajo further underscores the importance of the waters and Nigeria's dominant role in securing it. To do this better, Consular General of Brazil to Nigeria, Ambassador Francisco Carlos Luz, told his host that both countries must leverage their old socio-cultural ties to forge stronger military relations.
And this is helping in growing, training, participating in joint operations. I think this is quite positive for both countries.
And so we are doing some boarding exercises, some type of maneuvering, helicopter operations and things like that, so that we can make our backyard, call it South Atlantic, a good place for both of us.
Although the proposed drills and joint sea exercises are common among navies with shared goals, the Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Yakubu Wambai, says this one offers opportunities for peer review that will ultimately enhance the ability of the Nigerian Navy to police the nation's maritime domain.
We are here now. By October, hopefully there will be another exercise, another ship will be coming to continue to foster the synergy that we've had right from time of independence.
A total of 5 Nigerian naval ships will be participating in the joint drills with the visiting ship in Lagos. Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari rejoices with frontline journalist, editor and author Mike Awinfa as he turns 70. Now, the president recalls with delight the more than 4 decades Awinfa has devoted to journalism, informing, educating and entertaining the public with the best of prose and literary prowess, plying his trade with the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, Court Press, the Sun newspapers, and publishing the Entertainment Express, among others. He equally salutes the journalist foray into book writing and encourages many more journalists to tell the same path. He wishes Awinfa long life in good health and greater contributions to a profession he loves so much. And Hipdet University and British American Business School's annual lecture and investiture ceremony has been held here in Abuja, with the academia re-echoing the need for the concentration of powers at the federal level. Our correspondent Joseph Watson has the details.
It's an academic atmosphere and many here will be inducted and honored with awards. But before then, the congregation will be lectured on the state of the nation as captured in the book titled Which Way Nigeria? The Destiny of Nigeria in a Three-Dimension Universe, written by Chancellor British American Business School, Professor Paul Godwin.
The states of Nigeria should be allowed to manage their resources and pay tax to the central government, to the federal government. These will allow the states to look within.
The only way forward is to revamp the oil and gas sector by bringing in the revenue proceeds from the oil and gas sector to activate other sectors.
I believe that Nigeria as a trigger will be ultimately pushed, and it will unleash the potential of Africa. We must pressure our governments to introduce religious tolerance.
After the lecture, which harped on innovation and creativity as the way out to dwindling economy, then came time for the investiture and presentation of honorary doctorate awards to 53 persons and research fellows of the institution.
This is a historic event, and we will carry on providing trainees.
Distinguished personalities were presented with awards at the occasion, including President Muhammadu Buhari, who bagged an award of excellent performance in agricultural transformation and sustainability. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
Nade Abdul Samad Rabiu Africa Initiative ASR Africa, a brand of industrialist, philanthropist and founder of Buhari Group, has awarded from its ASR Africa Fund for Social Development and Renewal the sum of $3 million for development initiative in Niger Republic. The donation was announced when President Mohamed Bazoum of Niger Republic hosted the chairman of Buhari Group and ASR Africa at the State House in Niamey over the weekend. Samand announced that his private philanthropy, ASR Africa, had selected Niger Republic as a recipient of the 2022 National Development Grant to Social Development and Renewal, channeled towards intervention in the areas of health, education, as identified by the Nigerian Republic for implementation.
Nigeria Republic. We have an excellent relationship and we are at home here. His Excellency President Bazoum has been a close family friend for many, many years. So it is an honor and a privilege for me to be here in Miami and to be received by His Excellency. And I want to use this opportunity to thank His Excellency for the warm reception, for the hospitality accorded to us.
President Bazoum appreciated Abdul Samad Rabiu for the gesture and stressed the importance of Pan-African cooperation in various areas ranging from business, economic empowerment to infrastructural and social development, among others, adding that such partnerships are critical in building and sustaining an economically vibrant and prosperous Africa that will guarantee a brighter future. President Bazoum had hosted a state dinner in honor of Abdul Samad Rabiu, which was attended by the Nigerian Prime Minister and other senior government functionaries. ASR Africa is the brainchild of African industrialist, philanthropist and chairman of Buhari Group Abdul Samad Rabiu, which was established in 2021 to provide sustainable impact-based homegrown solutions to developmental issues affecting healthcare, education and social development within Africa.
And 8 persons have been arrested for attempting to import hundreds of cocaine pellets into Nigeria through the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Enugu and Lagos airports. In a statement, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency says some illicit substances concealed in a consolidated cargo going to Dubai, UAE, were confiscated, including 24 parcels of loud, a precursor for methamphetamine and BMK glycidic acid, among other substances, with no fewer than 4 freight agents arrested in connection with the seizure. Meanwhile, 10 suspects were arrested in Kaduna, Abuja, Sokoto and Anambra states for being in possession of quantum of illicit substances such as diazepam, refinol, codeine, syrup, opioids, rubber solution, skunk and methamphetamine, among others. Now, following INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu's directive that ongoing continuous voter registration exercise be extended to weekends, Ifoma Ojenta visited some registration centers to ascertain the level of compliance by INEC officials and prospective registrants.
Well, it's Sunday, and one would have expected that residents of the FCT will be at various churches or at home relaxing since it's a weekend. The residents of FCT are not leaving anything to chance to ensure that they remain relevant in the scheme of things. Come the 2023 general elections, they have come out in their numbers against all odds to ensure that they exercise their franchise come 2023.
You can see the turnout of people. There are so many people interested in politics now, voting. You know, it's never been like this before. And within the period of extension, I'm aware that millions of people have registered.
We don't want to stay back and wait for some people to make a decision where we complain. We all want to come out and make our decision.
At all registration centers visited this Sunday, INEC officials were on ground early enough.
People are eager to have their PVCs before the election come 2023. This exercise is supposed to be a continuing thing. It's not supposed to be something that will stop because election has taken place. Even if election took place today, it should be a continuous exercise.
Security personnel were also on ground to maintain law and order, while business-minded individuals are cashing on this opportunity to make BRICS business. It's been Ifeoma Ojinta, NTA News.
Nigerian farmers are raising concerns over recent situation as it affects food demand and supply. Consequently, rice farmers have signed a memorandum of understanding with international organizations with a view to increasing production to meet local and regional demands. Musa Aliu tells us more.
Nigerian farmers are making efforts to boost food production to meet the country's demand of staple food as the world faces distribution challenges due to the Russian-Ukraine war. This is further aggravated by communal clashes, banditry, and other environmental factors in other parts of the country. To this end, farmers under the Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria have signed a memorandum of understanding with some international organizations with a view to boosting their production.
By the time Nigeria gets it right, we all know that the whole of West Africa and Africa gets it right. And that is why Syngenta concentrated on giving us a helping hand to see how we can maintain the successes we have achieved in the area of food security.
Farmers will be trained on smart agriculture, which will boost rice production not only for local consumption but for markets across West Africa.
It provides them a greater appreciation of the technical issues associated with water resource management, pest and weed control, and optimizing the potential for rice production in Nigeria.
The training taking place in Abuja also highlighted the need for not only Nigeria but West African countries to strategize and overcome overdependence on importation. Stakeholders say ECOWAS member countries can learn from the rice revolution of Nigeria.
We are here to really work with them and try to give substance to the program and the final touch of the design, the program collaborative efforts between these two organizations to truly implement the phase 2 of the rice revolution program of Nigeria.
This is the second capacity building workshop for rice farmers with a view to increasing yield. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
All right, let's now join our sports desk for the latest in the world of sport.